What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and it's time for Billy Donovan to go, man. Last night was very telling. The Bulls started out strong with about 3 minutes left in the second quarter. The Lakers punched them in the mouth, and the Bulls never recovered. The Bulls wilted. Lakers finished on a 12-0 run in that first half. And we've seen this time and time again in the Billy Donovan era. The Bulls, they can come out strong, but once the team fights back, once they start playing physical, you saw Jordan Vanderbilt getting physical with them, Rui Hachimura getting physical with them, LeBron doing LeBron things, AD jumping on DeMar's back to get that tip slam. Once these things start happening, once the Bulls get punched in the mouth, they don't fight back. They just fall. And that's on the players a little bit, but it's also on the coaching, especially when you take into account what happened after halftime. So you go into halftime. Lakers are on a 12-0 run. They've been punching you in the mouth. They've been doing you dirty. They've been punking you for the last 3 to 4 minutes. You have 15 to 20 minutes to rile the guys up, to get a message across, to try to get through to them. And what happens? You come out in that second half and you have to call a timeout 54 seconds into it because somehow the body language is even worse. The energy is even worse. The team just wilted, and then to come out of that timeout with roughly the same lineup that you went into it with doesn't make any sense to me. That's when you do a platoon swap and you say, you motherfuckers aren't doing what I want you to do. You don't have the energy for this game. Let's get some young kids in here. Let's get Dalen Terry in here. Let's get Julian Phillips in here. I'm not really sure if he is on the active roster. I'm just using it as an example. Let's get some blood, some energy in here, and let's try to fight a little bit. But Billy doesn't do that. So to me, that is a sign he has lost the team. When you come out of a halftime like that and you have to call a timeout 54 seconds in, that's a sign you've lost the team. These dudes are tuning you out. And, once the team tunes a coach out, there's no coming back from that. It is the way it is, man. That we've seen that in the league time and time again, that once the team tunes a coach out, you're not reeling that back in. So shout out to Kelder. Shout out to the Italian Bull on Twitter. You guys are the biggest Zach LaVine haters I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what this man did to you for you guys to talk as recklessly about him as you do, but, you're sticking to your guns. You're standing on business with your Zach LaVine hate. And, that I was going back and forth with Kelder this morning. He was trying to blame Zach LaVine for last night somehow. Like Zach LaVine is the reason the team has tuned Billy Donovan out. Zach LaVine has nothing to do with the team tuning Billy Donovan out. Zach LaVine ain't even been playing with the team. Zach LaVine hasn't even been practicing with the team. So it has nothing to do with him. We can't blame Zach for this one. The reality is we can trade Zach LaVine for some veterans, some good locker room guys, whatever you want to say. But those guys are going to come into this situation. They're going to see the way Nikola Vucevic treats Billy. They're going to see the way DeMar DeRozan treats Billy. They're going to see this whole team tuning Billy out. I'm even going to say Alex Caruso seems to be tuning Billy out too. Kobe White tuning Billy out. It just seemed like across the board, that body language, everybody was over the entire situation last night. We've seen that many times this year. So the whole team is tuning Billy out. Bringing in new veterans, they're going to look around the locker room. They're going to see the way these guys treat Billy, and they're going to do the same shit. So you can try to blame Zach LaVine for this all you want, but this ain't a Zach LaVine thing. The coach has just lost the locker room. Excuse me. Once you lose the locker room, it's over. You saw Doc Rivers in Philly, lost the locker room, time to send him packing. Adrian Griffin, he got 40 games. He never even had that locker room. It's like Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious when he's like, almost had me. You never had your car. It's like, you never had that team, Adrian Griffin. He's out. So you see across the board, across the league, these teams are not scared to make coaching changes with coaches that have accomplished a lot more than Billy Donovan with a lot less than Billy Donovan. Like, this roster ain't perfect by any means. I'm not saying he's coaching a flawless roster. This roster has flaws across the board, but we have seen coaches squeeze more out of lesser teams. While Billy Donovan, he consistently has underperformed with what has actually been pretty talented teams when you look across the board. Do the pieces fit perfectly? Hell no, but there's still talent there. There's better coaches could squeeze more out of this team. Better coaches could motivate these guys a little bit more than Billy does. So it's time to send Bubblegum Billy packing down the road. Maybe he can rebound in college. He seems to be much more of a college coach. I've never heard any of his former OKC Thunder players speak highly of him. I've only heard his former college guys speak highly of him. So last night, man, the way they came out of that second half, it's just proof to me that Bubblegum Billy, it's time to pack it up. It's time to get bouncing, man. So if you guys are not following, please hit subscribe on this video. Social media handles all the same, @HornsBloody. Throw me a follow. Let's talk hoops. Bulls are back Sunday against the Blazers. Hopefully we get a better effort out of those guys that night. Take it easy, guys.